stomach grow and evolve like the phases of the moon. A crescent slowly made whole until its milky fullness was ready to spill. Then it was just a matter of time. "She'll come when she's ready," she'd tell anyone who asked. She knew I was going to be a girl because she'd seen me in a dream. I was playing with washed-up shells on a long stretch of empty beach, collecting broken pieces of green glass like pretend emeralds, the colour of the sea. The tide was still a long way out, and the sand was dry golden powder like the remains of a city which had long ago turned to dust. Circling above me was a bird, solitary and blue and beautiful, but its shadow grew larger and larger and the world grew darker. Then with a rush of air it swooped, but she was too far away to pull me to safety. It was always at that moment that she woke up with a pounding heart. Now I was ready. Wincing in pain, Marea fell against the crumbling wall of the inn. Hunched and panting, she steadied herself until the pain suddenly subsided like a break in the thunderstorm, and she straightened. Abandoning the fish on the ground like coins, she staggered back up the hill. The fisherman kicked the mackerels into the gutter for the beggar cats who roamed the streets, silent as floating feathers, and put the empty sack back in his boat. He didn't like to see anything go to waste. A swooping gull squawked in annoyance. The cats had got there first. Finally, she fell through the doorway and crawled up the stairs, demented by pain as she collapsed on her bed. "She's coming! She's here! It's happening!" Her cries were so loud that they shook the walls. A clatter of heels and a jangle of jewels quickly followed, and a cluster of beautifully adorned women gathered around her bed as she fell sweating and panting against her pillow. One of them held a damp cloth to her forehead as she writhed on the sheets. "Push!" they chorused like a joyful choir, holding hands prayer-like, lips pursed in wonder as they exchanged excited glances and nervous giggles, their eyelashes fluttering like a release of summer butterflies. Marea needed little encouragement and pushed, but I was stubborn and refused to move. She was strong and had the patience of a desert cactus. Only when night came and the room was lit by the flicker of candles did I begin to stir. My head appeared before the first stroke of midnight, but my feet were slow to follow, and it wasn't until the sound of the chimes had died away that I had fully emerged. It was impossible to say which day I had been born, but it is said that babies born on the night of the great winter star suffer from a melancholy disposition and will be forever followed by sadness. Nobody wanted that. Slippery as a fish, I was quickly swallowed up in a huge pile of blankets and placed on Marea's heaving chest. Like a boat bobbing rhythmically on the ocean, moored by an unbreakable bond, I lay and blinked in my new world. And eyes blinked back, as though I was a miracle. They warbled and bubbled like a happy coop sprinkled with the morning grain. "What a good head of hair!" exclaimed one of the women, her own a whirl of candy floss. "It grows all the way down her neck." "Such a beautiful orange colour, like a sunset," marvelled another. "A flame to light a midnight room." "What's that?" asked one suddenly, clasping her hand to her chest. The whores peered closer. "Goodness, it looks like a tiny cluster of feathers. Is it some kind of birthmark?" Suddenly, a door slammed somewhere in the depths of the house, and the sound echoed all the way up the stairs and along the corridor. The room hushed. The patter of the whore's excited footsteps had aroused suspicion from below. Moments later, the door flung open and everyone quickly parted as a woman glided swiftly through. Her cheekbones sliced through her skin, hard and sharp like the glinting blade of a knife. Her hair, pinched tight at her temples, whitening her skin, was swept high in a complicated conundrum of pins on the top of her head, where it sat like a hive. Soren, the mistress of the house, had arrived, and nobody dared to speak, and nobody dared to breathe. All eyes fell quickly to the floor. She fixed her stalactite stare on me, and Marea clutched me tighter against her chest. The room wilted.